Welcome back.
Welcome to another episode of Life in Pictures podcast.
You may have forgotten about us, but we didn't forget about you.
We have seen a whole lot of movies this summer, and since the summer is now basically officially over, with school starting up on Monday, we figured...
If you live in Florida.
If you
live in the Northeast, they got another month of summer.
The three people that listen to this podcast are probably people that live in Florida.
Fair point.
But if you don't, then lucky you still got some summer left. So our original plan was usually the way it normally is we'll watch a movie or two and do an episode on each one or a couple of them. But since we didn't actually get to do that this summer, we've had some other things happening. We decided we're just going to do one big long episode and talk about the second half of the summer of 2026. Mm-hmm. Now, if you heard our last episode, I'm pretty sure that was just me and Colin talking about the first half of 2026 summer movies. So this will be the second half.
So we're going to begin our summer journey at the movies.
Well, first, what do we got to tell everyone?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. So we obviously, if you listen to the show, you already know that we're going to be talking about all of these movies as if you have seen them, because we've seen them and we just want to talk about them without worrying about anything. But if you haven't seen them and you don't want to know what happens, then you should stop listening now, go watch the movies, and then come back. If you don't care, go ahead and keep listening. But just fair warning, there will be spoilers.
There will be spoilers. So the first movie we're going to talk about is Disclosure Day.
Disclosure Day. Now, I was really excited to see Disclosure Day. They had been advertising it for a while leading up to its release,
yes,
as they do with movies. And the fact that it was a Spielberg movie is always great. He's obviously made a lot of very great movies, and I'm a big fan of his movies. So when I saw he was making a new one, I wanted to see it. The concept seemed intriguing. Everything looked like it deserved a watch.
Here's the thing. If there's a Spielberg movie and it's being released in the summer, that it's going to be a blockbuster. Like that is what we came for. That is what we know to expect. And that's what it was. It delivered for sure.
It was very good. Now, some details about this movie. It was released on June 12th, which we saw it. I think we might have seen it the day before it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they do this everywhere, but what they've been doing where we live is they've been showing the movies the day before the official release date.
So like that Thursday afternoon, evening before the official release.
And what they used to do is they used to show them at midnight on the release date so that it was technically the day. But now I guess they're just saying, screw it, here it is, like broad daylight the day before.
I really like going... I saw The Devil Wears Prada like that. I saw the second part of Wicked like that. I really like it.
Yeah, I don't have any complaints about it.
Lady.
It's just interesting that they're not doing the midnight... I guess they still have midnight ones, but that's not the earliest one anymore.
I feel like the earlier ones are targeted to people our age.
Like, I don't know if there was some sort of decision that was made somewhere that, hey, we're going to do it this way from now on, or if it just kind of happened organically or what, but I'm not really mad at it. Just something I noticed. But anyway, we went and saw this, which is kind of rare for us to see something the day it comes out. I mean, every once in a while we might, but it worked out to where we saw this technically the day before it came out, which was cool. We saw it with our Regal Unlimited membership, which...
Not sponsored,
but we give that thing a workout. We have seen all of these movies basically with that. And it's a great deal. It doesn't have to be Regal Unlimited. Most of the major theater chains have their version of it. So if you're like us and you like to watch movies a lot and you don't already have one of those memberships, you might want to look into getting them, because you really own the way that tickets are now. Everything's so expensive that you really only have to go like twice a month to break even, or you might even come out slightly ahead. So it's definitely worth it.
For sure.
So anyway, we went and saw this movie day before it came out. The budget for this movie was $115 million,
Like we said, a Spielberg blockbuster hit.
Big budget movie. The last time I checked, the box office was 234 million. So it looks like it definitely turned a profit.
For sure.
I believe it is available digitally now, so you can rent or buy it on Amazon or iTunes, Vudu, or not. What is it now? Fandango at home. Wherever you watch your digital movies. I don't think it's part of any of the streaming services yet. I haven't seen it anywhere. I could be wrong about that, but you can definitely buy and rent it digitally wherever you prefer to do that. So yeah, that's all the details about the movie. If you haven't seen this movie, so the plot of the movie is that there's a gentleman who... Is it the CIA that he works for?
Some covert government agency.
Some kind of, yeah. And so he's kind of the guy that's been in charge of alien communications, stuff like that have come in. And he decides that the people deserve to know what has been happening. So he kind of steals some information.
Because the government has essentially been covering up all these sightings, events, locations, all these things for decades upon decades.
Yeah, and he decides he's going to take this information and make it public. And the way that these aliens communicate is through, like obviously through noises and stuff that we can't understand as humans, but he can understand them. And then it turns out there's somebody else that he finds out can understand them as well. And that's that role is played by Emily Blunt.
We love Emily Blunt.
And so they kind of meet up and team up to expose this information. And they meet up with a group of like-minded individuals. And, they disclose this information to everybody. That's why, obviously, why it's called Disclosure Day.
Along the way, they encounter a lot of obstacles. Colin Firth plays this character that works for this government agency and is trying to keep this secret from being exposed because they are afraid that people knowing about it will upend the whole world.
Yeah, and they they have this technology where they can sort of I don't know if teleport is the correct word because they're not physically teleporting, but they can
embody.
They can be in two places at once, kind of thing, and
inhabit.
And so Colin Firth takes advantage of that technology to try to track them down, and it's a really great movie. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend going to see it. I thought it was well worth the price of admission.
It was not too scary. I think some people that I had talked to were worried that it was more of a horror movie, which it was not at all.
No.
But what's interesting to me, and I've mentioned this to you before, I feel like Steven Spielberg has this very distinct vision of what aliens look like and what alien life is like. And his movies that portray that, it's a very distinctive character, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that is based in any kind of research that he's done, or if that's just how he believes in his imagination that they look.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you kind of, everybody probably has a different idea of what they would consider. But the thing is, you can really make an alien look like anything because nobody knows,
Right.
But yeah, it did kind of was kind of more or less like the classic portrayal of aliens. That
One of the things I think I liked about Project Hail Mary was I'd never seen that take on the aesthetic of an alien before, if that makes sense.
Right.
But this movie was great. And I feel like it had a lot of political undertones, things that we're dealing with our current administration, and how we might feel like secrets are being kept from us. because people maybe think we cannot handle the truth. But overall, love Emily Blunt. She's an excellent actress. She's got such a range because she was hysterical in The Devil Wears Prada 2, and Diabolical. And she did really great in this more of like an action film. So I really liked it. And that was probably my first big movie of the summer.
The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Disclosure Day.
But I guess you did go see The Devil Wears Prada 2.
I did.
I didn't go see it because I wasn't
He's
interested.
never seen the first one. Can we please, somebody out there tell him that is just a complete travesty, because it's a fabulous movie. It's a fabulous movie. The second movie was great. I personally think I like the first one a little bit better. It's a little more lighthearted, and this one had a little bit more serious undertones, I would say. But back to Disclosure Day, what was your favorite part?
Oh, man. I just think it was... I don't even know if I could pick a favorite part. Like the fact that they were able to succeed, you know? Because you weren't really sure what was going to happen. Like, are they going to get caught? Are these people going to take them out, you know, before they can get the message out or whatever? And
they really kept that suspense up until the very last minute.
Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I liked.
Yeah, it was a good movie. So
I think we're going to maybe try to do these somewhat in order of, you know, when they came out. I tried to look up most of those release dates. So this one actually came out, I think, slightly before Disclosure Day.
But we saw it after.
And I think we actually saw it before.
Oh. I don't remember, guys.
But this one was released on June 5th. And this was also one I was kind of excited to see. Scary Movie 6.
Yes. And
I was excited to see this because it was supposed to be kind of a return to the original series. The Wayans family was involved. I'm a big fan of most of the stuff that they've done. I really enjoyed In Living Color when that was on the air in the 90s. And I just think that like pretty much everything that I've seen them do has just been really great. And so I was excited that this was coming back around, especially after Scream 7 had come out not too long before that. And so we decided to go see this. It was kind of weird how it's like, you know, you're making this movie in June. Same thing with like Scream 7, where they're like, we're going to make a horror movie in like February or whatever it was, or May. When did it come out?
It was like February.
Like, yeah. So it's like, all right. I mean, whatever. But, you know, you'd think it'd be closer to like Halloween or something. But I'm sure there's a reason why they didn't do that, you know. But anyway. But yeah, we went and saw it. And let's see. So this movie.
So we took our son because he's been really into the Scream series. And so did he watch Scary Movie with you? Did you guys watch it?
He saw the first one, but he hasn't seen like all of them.
I want to say I've seen maybe like 2 of them. I've not seen them all.
I want to say I've probably seen them all at one point or another, or at least most of them.
But I didn't feel like not having the movies from the middle really.
Yeah, you don't really need to have seen
you don't need it.
There's not like a you know, there's some major story there. This movie came out June 5th. It was a budget of $30 million. The last time I checked on it, it was at $228 million at box office. So
which is a huge profit.
Very successful. Yeah. It's available digitally now. And
I think that probably speaks to the fact that like the Wayans family was part of it again. Yeah. Because I think
the thing I didn't realize that they had sort of been kicked out of their franchise, you know, but that's pretty. I don't know why you wouldn't want them involved, but I'm sure something went down, you know, on the business end.
And if you know what that was, send us a message on Instagram or Facebook, Life in Pictures Podcast. Tell us what happened. What is the tea? Spill the tea.
Yeah, or like, if you're like Keenan Ivory Wayans or Sean or Marlon or Damon or
And
Kim,
you want to come on our
and
show,
you feel like you want to come talk
and
about
you
it,
want to talk about it, we will be
anytime
glad.
you want. That would be amazing.
Yes.
So anyways.
So the thing that I think is fun about the Scary Movie franchise is, if you don't know and you're listening to this, okay, but basically it is a parody of, it started as like a parody of those late 90s, early 2000s horror movies. And Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Final Destination. And so now that a lot of those are being rebooted, this has kind of come back to the forefront.
I feel like I don't know. I don't want to say it was the first one, but if it wasn't the first, it was definitely one of the earlier movies that was that kind of a movie where they made fun of genres of movies. Mm-hmm. Because there's been other ones since then. There's been like disaster movie and dance flick and those. I don't think the Wayans are involved in those, but like clearly they inspired that sort of genre of parody movies. And so I think a lot of people were excited to kind of see it come back around to the original creators and see what they had in store
and what new stories they could kind of weave in.
Right. And so we kind of made a list of the references to movies that we found. There may be more, but we noticed references to Final Destination, Bloodlines, The Substance, K-pop Demon Hunters, of course Scream, Smile.
Multiple of the newer Scream franchise series stuff.
Smile, Get Out, Terrifier, Sinners, Ballerina, possibly Halloween. Some of them are I couldn't really tell if it was like this is a reference or if it was just kind of a general horror movie thing. Mm-hmm. But I could maybe see a little bit of Halloween in there.
Also had Wednesday, White Chicks, Long Legs, creepy movie by the way. Michael, Saltburn, I Know What You Did Last Summer. References back to Scary Movies 3 and 4 and the movie Weapons.
Yeah, so there are quite a bit of references, probably more that we didn't notice, but those are the ones we picked up on. Some of the other things that I liked about the movie that I thought were kind of cool was Keenan Ivory Wayans' son is in the movie, and I don't remember what his name is, the character's name or his actual name, but I thought it was interesting that he called Marlon Wayans' character Unc, and he actually is his uncle. Like that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Damon Wayans Jr. is in it. He plays one of the detectives. Kim Wayans is in it. I don't know. It was nice to see her again because she was one of the main cast members on In Living Color. And I used to love that show. I saw every single episode there was of that show. I used to watch that every night. It's awesome.
So I feel like there was a lot of like predictability to it. Like it followed that sequence that, like we said with Scream, there's like a sequence that they follow. The same thing with the Scary Movie franchise. But I did think it was a little bit creative how they revealed the killers. All about relevancy, right?
Yeah. Some other things we noticed, there were some cameos in there. Shaq, Anthony Anderson, who had been in some of the earlier Scary Movies. Yep. At least one, maybe more than one. I know at least one he was in. Carmen Electra, who had also been in previous Scary Movies. Teyana Taylor, who was in One Battle After Another. And there are two mid-credit scenes that reference Longlegs and Nosferatu.
Yeah.
And then I also thought that the appearance, the cameo of the White Chicks was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So if I don't know how old folks are that are listening to this podcast, but if you don't know, Sean and Marlon had a movie in the 2000s called White Chicks, where they're undercover police officers that put on prosthetics and makeup to make themselves appear as white women. And so that was a pretty funny callback. If you haven't seen that movie, you can go check it out. Maybe by today's standards, some people might be offended by it, But I think some people are just going to be offended regardless. So you can watch it and draw your own conclusions.
It was a good movie. It was pretty funny. I will say our son does not care for like a lot of sexual humor, and there was a lot of
dildos and butt
toys.
plugs.
Yeah, there was a lot of that in it.
I think it's because Sean's character is gay, so they're really playing that up.
Yeah,
and that's like a running joke throughout the series. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it was they could have dialed that back just a little, but for the most part, it was funny and it was entertaining, and it wasn't too long, which I think is my issue with a lot of movies nowadays, is that they're just really, really long, and this one fit that like sweet spot.
Yeah.
All right, so what's next?
All right, that was still in June. Okay, so we got 2 other ones in June. So this next one, we were really excited to see this, it seems like a lot of other folks were happy to see it.
Our kids were not that excited.
They were not excited, but anytime this is a thing, I'm going to see it anyway.
And we said, too bad, so sad, you're going to see it, Sam.
Toy Story 5.
Toy Story 5.
Now, this was a great, like, obviously the first movie came out in 1995. We were like 11 years old. I guess probably by that, I'm assuming it came out in the summer. I don't remember exactly, but depending on when it came out, either 10 or 11. It was the first movie that I know of that was completely animated on computers. It was 3D. It was like a brand new thing. It was like, oh man, they did this whole thing on computers and it's in 3D, which now we kind of take for granted. But back then it was like this crazy new thing. Like nobody.
And I will say, it has come so far, the technology. There were definitely like scenes where there were not people that I was like, is that real? Like out in a field and things like that, like where it looked legitimately like it was filmed.
There were some scenes where there were people like that, or not people, but like when they were riding the horse around and stuff, you're like, wow, this is like really, the technology has come a long way.
So I cannot recall if we talked about Toy Story, if we had the podcast when Toy Story 4 came out.
I don't think we did, no.
Well, here's what else I'll say about Toy Story 4. I did not care for Toy Story 4. In fact, I felt after I saw that movie a little bit angry at the series in general, because Toy Story 3 did such a good job of like wrapping up the story, and it felt like a good finale. And then Toy Story 4 comes out, and then spoiler alert, but you already knew that. Andy like leaves them. Not Andy, I'm sorry. Woody leaves them, the other toys, and he's like, I don't know, hanging out with Bo Peep on the streets. And so when I heard this movie was coming, I knew I was going to see it, because of course I'm going to see it. But I was already kind of going into it with a little bit of an attitude, like this is going to be freaking terrible. Like how are you even going to tell this story? And what I will say is this was very well done, and I liked this one so much better than the fourth one.
Yeah, I will say that it was better than 4. I kind of feel the same way, where like after a while you're like, do you really need to make another one? Probably not, but they did, so I'm still going to go see it. And that's probably why they made it, because a lot of other people feel that same way, where they're like, I don't know, but it's making money, so they're going to make another one.
So rumor on the street is there's going to be one more, and it's going to like wrap up Bonnie's trilogy with the toys. And I think the perfect ending to that is to gift the toys back to Andy's children. Like that is the full circle. Like that is where it needs to go.
I'm also a little surprised they never had a Toy Story and Doc McStuffins crossover.
Yes.
It seems very obvious.
Say this.
Yeah, how did they not do that?
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, I think the girl that played Doc McStuffins is like a full-blown adult now. So
well, yeah, but
late,
I mean, like while it was happening.
Yeah, no, you're right, because that was a big deal.
They
for
did
a while.
Winnie the Pooh, like what? I don't understand. Like, what does Winnie the Pooh
right
have? I mean, not that it. I mean, there's toys of Winnie the Pooh, but like it seems like the natural thing would be to to cross over with Toy Story.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I guess they decided they weren't going to do that, but...
You know, to each their own.
Yeah.
I did like it a lot. For this movie, the budget was $250 million. And last we checked, it made over $800 million.
Yeah, so they ain't hurting for money.
Yeah, they got what they needed out of it.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked that it was more of Jessie's backstory, and it kind of centered more around her. And, you know, I really was questioning that when the trailers came out. But it worked. And like I said, I think it was better than the fourth film for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend watching it. I mean, if you've seen all the other ones, why not? You know? I don't think it is out for streaming yet.
No, it's still playing.
It's still in the
theaters.
theaters.
Yeah.
So, you know, eventually it'll probably be on Disney Plus, or you can, you know, purchase it digitally. I don't even think Disney makes Blu-rays anymore, DVDs or anything. I think all of their stuff is on Disney Plus or digitally available.
That's amazing.
But I'm pretty sure they stopped making physical media.
That's wild.
A lot of companies are going that way now.
We recently stayed at an Airbnb in Orlando, and the house was Disney themed. And each room had a different theme. But one of the coolest things in the house, pieces of decor, was in the living room. They had this giant, like, wooden piece that was shaped like, you know, like Mickey ears. And they had VHS tape covers, like, embossed all on it. So that was pretty neat. Very nostalgic because, you know, VHS tapes, let alone Disney ones, you really don't see anymore.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of cool things in that house. We stayed in the Beauty and the Beast room. So within that room, they had like a whole wall that was like a full library, and they had like stained glass pictures, and the kitchen, the bottom cabinets were like red with yellow knobs, and there was Mickey's embossed on the backsplash, and Travis's brother and his wife stayed in the Aladdin room, and it was all looked like Aladdin. The kids stayed in a Peter Pan room, and it had like two sets of bunk beds. One was like the ship, and one was like the grassy area, and they had Tinkerbell on a hook. There were just so many cool things if you're a Disney fan in that house. And I know they do that in a lot of Airbnbs in Orlando. That's kind of like the place for that, right? So that was a lot of fun. I don't really know why I just told you guys all of that, but it was a cool place to stay, and it reminded me of the movie covers.
Yeah, I was trying to talk about the merits of digital versus physical media, but also Airbnb's a thing, so just so you guys know.
That was my point. Was that was cool to see.
Well, I was just going to say, I guess she's saying if there wasn't physical media, you wouldn't be able to make art out of it like that.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I can see the merits of both. Digital is definitely more convenient, but I do like physical media. That way, you know, a company doesn't just wake up one day and decide, hey, your movie collection is totally gone now. Thanks for the money. You know, or no, not that couldn't happen with physical media. I mean, the disc could break, your player could break, etc. There's, you know, pros and cons, but they're doing the same thing with video games now. Sony announced they're not going to make any more physical games after 2028. I think Xbox is following suit. And I don't know, man. I just think that's kind of weird because it's like, it's definitely more convenient, but a lot of the times, you know, you can't really buy like a used digital game, so they don't really get cheaper. Sometimes they go on sale, but sometimes they don't. And same kind of deal for movies, you know? So it's like, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I think it could work a little better if maybe they implemented some changes into it, such as like, okay, well, you don't have a physical disc anymore, but like you actually own this license, or you own something more than a license, so they can't just wake up and take it away from you. Or if you decided, hey, man, I don't really care about this movie anymore, and like if you have a Blu-ray, you can sell that Blu-ray to somebody, or you can give it to somebody, or you can whatever, right? If you have a digital thing, you're just stuck with it. Which, I mean, you don't have to watch it, I guess, but like, what if you were like, screw it, I hate this movie and I don't want it. I'm gonna sell it to this guy for, half of what I paid, and at least I'm saving something here. Whatever, right? Like, I think they should have both, but I'm sure somebody somewhere crunched the numbers and figured out it's better for them to not do it. So, whatever. I guess if that's the way they want it to go, we'll see how it goes. And now that I've been off on my own little tangent that makes no sense, I guess we'll get back to our.
So we kind of skipped over this one because I actually did not see this one. Travis and our son saw it. The next movie we're going to talk about is Masters of the Universe. It was released on June 5th. The budget for this movie was $170 million, and it made about $113 million.
It might be more now.
When we checked.
Yeah.
It is currently still, I don't know if it's still in theaters, but it's definitely on digital. You can watch it on Prime. So that is that. I would love to tell you about it, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, so we saw that. Colin and I saw this movie, and Colin he didn't know anything about He-Man, and of course, like, I knew what it was because when I was a kid, when we were kids, that was a thing, and I really, I remembered enjoying He-Man as a kid. I had the toys, I had the Castle Grayskull playset, all of that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, that's cool. They made a movie of it. I'm gonna go check it out. And so he was like, yeah, I want to see the movie too. So I'm like, all right, well, let's go watch it. So we went and watched it. It was pretty good.
I heard it was funny.
It was funny. I think a lot of the time, in my opinion, I think sometimes they went a little too far out of their way to make a joke about something, and it sort of made the story drag a little bit. However, full disclosure, when He-Man was a thing, I was very young, so maybe that's the vibe of the original show, and I'm just not remembering it. I don't know, but I thought it was good. They did have a post-credits scene, and it sort of hinted that She-Ra was coming, assuming that they're, presumably in a sequel. So that's pretty cool.
They lost money, so I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And some of these things, you see that the budget was this much, and they made this much, and I've said before on shows that, I'm obviously not in the movie industry. I'm not really sure how these budgets work, or even if these figures are, how accurate they are. Cause I'm just Googling it and taking their word for it. So assuming that that's somewhat accurate, number one. And then number two, like I said, I don't know what all that figure includes. Is that just to make the movie? I don't think it includes marketing and stuff.
No.
And then like merchandise. Who pays for merchandise? Does the company like if you want to make like a He-Man toy?
That's a good question.
Does the company that makes that toy pay for that? Do they pay the studio for the license, or does the studio go to them and say, "We want you to make toys for us. Here's a cut of the
That's a great
money."
question.
I don't know what the deals these folks made with each other are. So I don't know, like, let's say it says the budget's $50 million and it made $30 million, but like, does that include if they made a bunch of money on toys and it shores it up, or is that I don't know. From what I've heard other folks say, that figure doesn't include marketing.
Probably.
So a lot of people are saying, oh, well, it made this much, but like really with marketing, the budget balloons to this much.
Sure.
So they lost a lot more than it looks like, which it seems logical to me. But then I'm like, well, how does that person know? Are they in the movie industry, or are they just like me and they're just parroting something they saw on Google?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
I don't know. I would imagine that the marketing plays. My job is nowhere near like this level of like exposure, right? But just thinking about when we travel for work. So thinking about these celebrities, and they send them to New York and LA and to England and all these places to promote these movies, how expensive that must be.
Right.
But like,
and sometimes I look at it and I'm like, man, if I ever was just super crazy rich, like, I won some Powerball or something, and I decided that I wanted to make the next Odyssey, how much money would I have to spend to have a movie on that scale and, have it play in these theaters and, go into a store and see like shirts and stuff and whatever, right? And like, And also, does that figure include, I would assume it's a separate budget, but like, does that include the release on home video?
Yeah.
How does that factor into the whole process? Like, I don't know. And like, and conversely, I don't know if conversely is the right word, but like, by that same token, does the money that it makes on home video count towards the total profits, or are they only counting this is what it made in the theatrical release and the home video is a separate thing, or do they say it's made this much overall from everything? How do they judge like what's a success and what's a flop?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course then you have critical flops and financial flops. And
speaking of flops, the next movie we saw, which is part of the superhero summer, was Supergirl. Now, I don't think it was a flop, but what?
So anyway, that was Masters of the Universe. Screw what we were talking about. On to Supergirl.
Well, I can't say anything about Masters of the Universe. I wasn't there.
All right, so she wasn't there. It doesn't matter. You heard it here first.
Guys, we've talked about it for 10 minutes. How long do you want to talk about it?
Okay, all right, let's go. Supergirl. Here we go.
Supergirl. Another movie that lost a boatload of money.
So they're about, last I heard, they're about 50 million short. And again, that's what I was just talking about. Like, I don't know if that figure includes marketing and all that.
That's why I brought it up, because I feel like they're related.
But the budget was 170 million. The box office was 121 last time I checked. It might be bigger than that now.
And I gotta say, I was a little hesitant to go because I had heard that it was terrible.
I was ready to go, honestly. Like, they had been pushing Supergirl hard, like, before its release. You saw that trailer on every dang movie you went to see.
I don't like dogs.
And so I'm a fan. I've been a fan of Superman my whole life. And I was excited when they made the Superman movie last year. And then this was the next one in the series. And, I'm not as knowledgeable about her backstory, but I was like, oh, that's cool. I still want to go see it. I'm glad they're sort of reviving the DC universe. I hope it does well so they can continue on reviving it. And I'm not really sure what happened with this movie, but it seems like early on it kind of got some bad press and it just sort of snowballed. I didn't honestly think it was that bad.
Honestly, I kind of liked it. I really went in thinking like, oh, this is just a time filler. It's going to be so stupid. And our daughter didn't want to see it either. And we both left the theater thinking it was pretty good.
Yeah. I read the comics because I hadn't read the comics when it was released, and I decided, oh, you know what? Because I recently got a subscription to DC Infinite, which is they have a service you can subscribe to where you can read all of these digitized comics. Marvel has one as well, and I'm a member of that as well. So I like to brag, but I'm kind of a big deal. Now you know how cool I am.
He can read.
So I read the comics that this is based on, and I could understand if somebody was criticizing it from that standpoint because it doesn't follow the comics super closely. There's some notable differences. So if you're
a comic snob,
if you were expecting it to be analogous to the comics and you went and saw it and was like, what is this? I could understand. But just as a movie on its own.
I didn't know her story. I have no skin in the comic game. But it was a decent movie, and I honestly thought that she was going to annoy me a lot more than she did. She was a lot more redeemable than she was in the trailer.
Yeah. So I don't know. Some of the things like Lobo isn't in the comics at all. They just kind of shoehorn him in because, I don't know, he's Jason Momoa, I guess. Not that I thought his character was good. It's just, I could understand if somebody was criticizing it from that standpoint, saying, oh, well, that didn't happen in the comics, right? And there was a few other things, like the main villain Krem. He's got all these like studs on his face and everything, and like in the comic, he's just a regular guy. He's not like an alien or anything. Or maybe he's an alien. I don't know, but like he's not like he doesn't have stuff on his face and all that. Like he's things like that. But I thought it was pretty good. It's one of those things where it's like I didn't go in there and say, "Oh my god, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen." But I also didn't have the same reaction I've heard a lot of other people have, like, oh, this movie is complete trash and nobody should ever see it, you know.
Yeah, I heard people say they like walked out. It was not that
Yeah,
bad.
like I thought it was pretty good.
I've sat through some movies where I've really questioned my life choices, and this is not one of them.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I would recommend checking it out. And I think it's on digital now. I don't know if it's in HBO or something, or if you have to like purchase it or rent it. But I'm sure eventually it'll probably end up on HBO, because I think they still have a deal with Warner Brothers and DC and all of that.
Nice.
So I would check it out if you were on the fence. I thought it was pretty good. And I kind of wanted to bring Olivia to see it too, because I wanted her to have to see like a strong female role model. Like, you know, like women can be superheroes too. So.
That's why I wanted her to see The Devil Wears Prada, but she had no interest in that. Anyway, next movie on our list is The Invite.
The Invite, starring Seth Rogen, Emily Wilde,
Olivia Wilde.
It's not Emily?
No, it's Olivia.
Olivia Wilde?
Yes.
Too many people. Olivia Wilde, Ed Norton,
and Penelope
Cruz. Is there only 4 people in it the whole time?
Yeah,
I guess,
pretty
right?
much, yeah.
So, anyway, this movie came out July 10th. Had a $6 million budget. I think it was directed by Olivia Wilde.
Yes, she wrote it too.
Not to be confused with Emily Wilde, who's a real person.
She probably is.
She is. She also makes movies, and you just haven't heard of her before.
I haven't heard of her. Sorry, my bad.
I know things other folks don't know.
Okay.
But this one's by Olivia Wilde, who's a little more successful than Emily. Emily does underground movies. And it looks like the last time I checked this, the box office for it was around 42 million.
Yeah. So this was an independent film, and it definitely made
quite a bit more than the budget.
And it's still currently in theaters, but it will be available for digital purchase and rental August 11th.
I think you can pre-order it now.
Okay.
If you're really excited to go see this or to see it at your house, it's on the radar. I don't know if you can actually watch it yet, but it was pretty good. This movie was about a couple who had, you know, I mean, I think they've been together for a while, and they're maybe their lives are a little stale, and they have these neighbors that they invite over, and you know the husband's kind of against it. He doesn't really want to have company, and the wife is really wanting to make a good impression on them, and it turns out that these neighbors have some unorthodox sexual habits that they want to recruit Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde
to their extracurricular activities.
And so, you know, some of it's funny, some of it's dramatic.
I think the thing that made this movie funny is that it's relatable a little bit. Like,
obviously not all of it, but
no, not all of it, but
like, there are some things that are relatable.
You know, kind of some of the feelings of
it kind of reminded me of The Breakup.
It did, actually.
With Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston.
When they were arguing in the beginning before the neighbors came to dinner.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just like that fight that Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston had.
The movie was similar to that. Different ending. It's implied that they worked it out and got back together.
Yes.
They don't actually say.
The movie all takes place in that evening of them having this like dinner party. Like, so it's, you know, it's kind of like the, I don't know, real time, like of them eating dinner and conversing, and all of these things are happening within that space. And then the end of the evening is kind of the end of the movie. I liked it. I thought it was, I think what's interesting is you don't really know what it's about from the trailer.
You kind of assume the invite is when they're inviting the neighbors over, but I think what it really was the neighbors inviting them to their activities.
And I think it just kind of a realistic portrayal of lifing and things that probably happen in a lot of people's lives, you know. being busy with work, maybe not being satisfied with the job you have, being busy with your kids. So a lot of those kind of like issues come to the surface, but there's also a lot of comedy in it. Like it was very funny. And not like, sometimes Seth Rogen can be a little like stupid funny, but this was like realistic funny.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it went too far in any direction.
Right.
Know. It was good to see Edward Norton. I hadn't seen him in a movie in a while.
In a while, yeah.
So it was good to see him come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was good to see that Olivia Wilde is doing stuff.
Yeah,
too.
not just Emily.
Yeah, Emily's, I had been a little more familiar with Emily's
work.
I've
got to give her a break.
Recently, but
she's been so busy.
Olivia came back and made a pretty good movie.
So the next movie is another movie that I did not see.
The next movie is a very popular movie. So Colin and I went to go see this movie, and it's made a ton of money. It's gotten a lot of press. The Odyssey. Now, this movie came out on July 17th, so almost a month ago. Had a budget of $250 million. The last time I checked, it was at $264 million. I'm just gonna Google that real quick because if it's on Google, it's completely accurate.
And I'm torn because I do want to see this movie. I probably will.
So globally, it has made $1 billion.
Okay.
So I don't know if this figure I had before was global or domestic, but either way, it's made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's still going. Obviously, it's only been out less than a month. But there's a lot of big name actors in this movie.
Yes.
You got Matt Damon, you got Tom Holland, you got John Bernthal, you got Zendaya, not to be confused with Zendaya. Zendaya is not a real person, or maybe she is a real person. She makes, Zendaya makes a lot of movies with Emily Wilde, I think. Emily Wilde directs these movies.
I see.
Who else?
Anne Hathaway.
John Leguizamo. Robert Pattinson.
Travis Scott.
Yes, the biggest movie star in the whole bunch, Travis Scott. Who could forget?
Yeah. Did you say Tom Holland?
The Chicken McNugget meal guy himself. Tom Holland, I'm pretty sure I did say that, but if not, Tom Holland. Who else? Elliot Page is in it. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but there is a lot of big name stars in this movie. If you are not familiar with like literature, the Odyssey is based on the book by Homer. It's Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm. It's the sequel to the Iliad.
To the Iliad by Homer. Colin had read this in his class, so when he saw the movie was coming out, he wanted to go see it. I wasn't really.
He read it again. Okay, guys, let's talk about our son for a second. He read it in school, and then he read it again because he wanted to. That's our son, kids.
I wasn't really that excited to see it, I'll be honest, because I'm like, whatever. This is, this stupid mythology stuff. And then they said, oh, yeah, and it's going to be 3 hours. I'm like, oh, great. It's going to be 3 hours, too. Just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go take him because he really wanted to see it. And I didn't want to be like, I wanted to make sure he got that opportunity. I didn't want to stand in the way. And like I said, we can take advantage of the unlimited that we have. So it wouldn't be as expensive as it would be if everybody had to buy a ticket. So I said, all right, sure. It's the weekend. What else are we doing? Let's go check it out. So we went and checked it out. And honestly, it was better than I expected it to be. It held my attention because I was thinking like, man, am I going to be able to pay attention to this for 3 hours? Or am I going to be able to get through without having to get up and use the bathroom or something? And I was okay. I watched the whole thing. It was good. I thought I'm going to stop short of saying I would go see it again just because it's so long.
Yeah.
But it was, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend going to, I wouldn't recommend against seeing it. I wouldn't discourage anyone from going to see it.
I saw this video clip of, like a mockumentary of like Chris Nolan pitching this movie. And it was like, okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take Jason Bourne and we're going to take Batman and the Punisher and Spider-Man. and Catwoman. And Catwoman is going to be the mother to Spider-Man. And Catwoman and Jason Bourne had a baby, and it was Spider-Man. And like all this crazy stuff. Anyway, that was in my brain because all of these people, the Punisher, play superheroes in a lot of the other franchises.
There is one scene where they have to listen to the Song of the Siren, and Matt Damon, Odysseus, tells them to tie him to the mast of the ship and to plug their ears, and he's the only one that can hear it, and he's suffering through it. And I leaned over to Colin and I said, I want to take this scene and splice in Opalite by Taylor Swift. And then it turns out he was showing me there's a whole lot of memes like that on Instagram and TikTok. So I'm like, oh, cool. All right. I'm not the only one that thought that then.
Yeah.
I guess it's not only her. It's, whatever song you want to put in there. I guess other people thought of that joke too, but I was one of them.
So what was your favorite part of the movie?
I just thought it was cool to see it brought onto the screen. I know they've had some other adaptations of it before. So it was cool to see Christopher Nolan's interpretation. If you're not familiar with him, he made the Dark Knight trilogy, which is probably one of the greatest superhero trilogies ever.
And this was the only movie ever made fully in IMAX, right?
Yeah, so this movie is completely shot in IMAX. Now, usually if they have a movie that has IMAX, they might have like a few scenes in IMAX. Mm-hmm. This movie is completely shot in IMAX.
Very, very expensive.
And apparently there's only like 25 theaters in the country or maybe the world or something that you can actually see it in the intended
40
format.
In the whole world.
Yeah. So if we wanted to see it, we'd have to go down to Fort Lauderdale, I think is the closest one that has. Because some theaters, they have IMAX, but they're not the same aspect ratio or something. I'm not super familiar with what the difference is, but apparently if you want to see it in the exact format that he intended you to see it in, you have to go to one of these theaters, which we didn't care that much. It looked fine on the regular screen too, but apparently if you have the opportunity to go to one of these theaters with a 70 millimeter IMAX, do it, because apparently it's a phenomenal experience. And if you're going to go see the movie anyway and you have the ability to do it, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
Sure. But rest assured, it's still fine in a regular theater. But apparently they shot the whole thing like the reel of the film was some ridiculous thing, like 600 miles of film or something like that.
Yeah, like the whole length of the state of California.
Yeah, some like crazy thing. So they really did go all out on this movie. And it looks like it paid off because it's making a crazy amount of money.
And it's getting buzz for award season too.
Yeah. So if you are somewhat familiar with the mythology and you think you would enjoy that kind of thing, obviously you probably have already seen it or will go see it. But even if you're not, like me, I'm not like against it, but I'm not like a big fan either. And I had a good time. So I think you probably would enjoy it.
Yeah.
And speaking of some of the things we already talked about, last but not least, this movie, coincidentally, is brand new. And the name of the movie is Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yes, that is correct.
And this has several of the people that were in the Odyssey.
That's also
Tom
true.
Holland, Zendaya, not Zendaya, Zendaya. Couldn't get Zendaya. She was busy with Emily Wilde. Okay. So they got Zendaya instead.
Yeah.
And John Bernthal, they all play Peter Parker / Spider-Man, MJ, and the Punisher, respectively.
Yes. So this movie was released, like we said, brand new movie, July 31st.
About a week ago.
Yes.
Its budget was $225 million. Mm-hmm. It hasn't even, maybe, let's see. It's made like a little over a week.
Yeah.
It's already at $653 million.
That's crazy.
This movie is going to, and it's been a week, it's going to make crazy money.
Crazy money. Crazy money.
So, yeah, whatever shortcomings Disney may have had recently, maybe this is going to bail them out.
Yeah, I don't think Moana did as well as they thought it was.
I don't think a lot of the stuff they've done recently has done as well as they've wanted, but this is not the case here.
Yeah. Well, you can pretty much always bet on those Marvel movies doing really well.
I mean, not even that. Thunderbolts didn't do that well, you know? Like, sometimes they miss with Marvel, too.
Yeah.
So, they did...
Florence Pugh was in this.
Yeah,
Speaking of
from Thunderbolts, yeah. And so we went to go see this, as obviously a lot of other people did, too, making that kind of money.
And we did the go see it the night before it actually releases. So we actually saw it on Thursday, July 30th.
Yeah, this was another one of those rare occasions where we saw it early. And this one was at kind of the encouragement of Colin. He was very adamant that we go see it first thing because he didn't
want
spoilers. And I understand, but he's very gung-ho about that. He was the same way about Avengers. So we've got tickets to go see the new Avengers when that comes out in December as well. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about right now. Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's, obviously still in theaters. It's making a lot of money.
Seriously, spoiler alert, because
if
there's no way to not spoil
maybe
it.
not have seen this yet, but like we said, if you don't want to hear about it, go see it first. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the movie was Punisher.
Yeah, I really like that character. I didn't know much about that character until this movie. I really enjoy John Bernthal as an actor too. We really liked him in The Accountant when he played Ben Affleck's brother.
Yep. He's in The Bear.
He's in The Bear.
He's obviously the Punisher. They had a Netflix series which has now carried over to Disney Plus,
which we just started watching.
Because
of this movie.
And I was familiar with the Punisher just from the comics, like reading the comics when I was a kid. And well, let me back up. It kind of makes it sound like I read all the comics. Like occasionally seeing him in a comic. I didn't like follow the series super closely but I knew who the character was, and I was somewhat familiar with him.
I thought he was a bad guy. Like when I first saw him on the
Oh
screen.
no, I knew he was.
Didn't know.
I knew he was a hero because, like I said, I was somewhat familiar with the character. But I never really followed him that closely. And then when I remember when the Punisher show came out on Netflix, and I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care, because they had the Daredevil show too, which I'm pretty sure is also on Disney Plus now. Same thing. I still haven't watched that, but that's where he showed up at. Was Daredevil, and I'm pretty sure they gave him his own show after that. But now we saw this movie, and I said, yeah, that was really cool. Oh, yeah, there's a show. I'm going to watch it. So I started watching that. I started reading more of the comic books on Marvel Unlimited, which is nice. Although, there is a brand new series that started this year that has 7 issues, and only 4 of them are on there. So
rude.
I've finished the 4th one, and they're like, yep, that's it. And I'm like, what do you mean that's it? They're like, yeah, the other ones aren't on here. I'm like, well, that sucks.
Get them already.
I'm just still not sure why like all of the comics that come out today aren't just digitized by default, but I'm sure there's a reason for that. But anyway, yeah, Punisher's in it, and so what's the plot of this movie?
So it's kind of Peter is kind of living with the repercussions of saving the universe, because now in the multiverse that he is in, MJ, the girl he loves, and his best friend, what's his name?
Ned.
They don't know who he is. So, like, it's several years into the future. They've gone off to college. They've had this great experience. He's kind of followed them via social media. And he's just been kicking it as Spider-Man. And he doesn't have much else going on. And he's I don't know if it's the hormones from the poison or whatever of the spider that are starting to morph. And he's having trouble like controlling things. So that's part of the plot line. And then there is Sadie Sink's character who jumps into people's bodies, and she's destroying all of these places.
And you don't know it at first, but it's later revealed that she's Jean Grey from the X-Men.
Yes.
Which I don't know if she had. I guess at this point in time, she wasn't part of the X-Men yet.
No,
but
she's a telepathic, and apparently her sister had been as well. And she was trying to find out what happened to her sister, but the government people or whatever were trying to spin it like she was just trying to destroy them for no good reason. So Spider-Man at first
The Department of Damage Control.
The Department of Damage Control, which sounds like it's from the Trump administration.
Who is led by, I don't know this guy's name, but he's in Severance, the boss guy.
Oh, yeah.
He was in Mission Impossible. Also, he's in a lot of stuff, but...
So it kind of gets revealed later on in the movie that that they're kind of, like, that guy is kind of the bad guy. So then he kind of teams, him and the Punisher and Jean Grey kind of team up to, I don't know, to fight the guys.
Tramell Tillman is the actor that I was referring to from Severance, and he's the leader of the Department of Damage Control in this movie.
Yeah. So anyway, it gets revealed that her sister was killed, and she gets real upset. But she ends up kind of going off at the end and leaving. And I guess that is maybe supposed to be a clue that she's going to join the X-Men. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was a little confusing at first because you're like, why is Jean Grey bad? I don't understand. And then they reveal that she's not really bad, but she's misunderstood. It was good. It's made a lot of money. I'm not the only one that thinks it was good. Clearly, if you enjoyed the other Spider-Man movies, you will like it too. If you haven't seen them for some reason, check them out.
Yeah.
But you'll like this movie probably, even if you're just a fan of Spider-Man, even if you haven't seen the other ones. This is a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just one post credit?
Yes, and it was at the very, very, very.
So there's a post credit scene. It's not really all that great. So there's this thing in the movie where that Ned made a tracker for Spider-Man where people can report when they've seen him, and the post credits alert comes in that says it's coming from outer space. So I don't know who would have seen him in outer space, but then it says Spider-Man will return. It doesn't say when he'll return, but apparently he's coming back in something. So if you want to wait through the whole credits to see that, I didn't think it was worth it, but...
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it was just like a split second. I did hear that he's a pretty big plot point in Doomsday, but I don't know if that's accurate or not.
We'll see. We'll find out in...
we shall see.
In December. Apparently, Michael Jackson will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Obviously.
So I'm excited to see how they use him.
All right, friends. We have taken you through
the
summer.
So that's our second half of the summer. A lot of great movies. Some are still in the theater. Some you can watch at home now. So there you go. There's sort of what we thought of it, what we've been up to. And, hopefully that helps you make some decisions if you're looking for a recommendation on something to watch.
Give us a like and review where you listen to your podcasts. So Apple, Spotify, wherever it is.
If you have any
review
questions or comments, you can reach us on Life in Pictures Podcast is the name on Facebook and Instagram, and also on YouTube. And I think that's really all we have for social media, actually.
Yes.
So we've recently put this podcast on YouTube. Right now, it's just from the RSS feed. So every time we post a new episode, it gets posted as an audio episode on YouTube. It seems like a lot more of you have discovered it from there than on the other platforms that it's been available on, from what I can see. We've been thinking about possibly doing some videos in the future. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but it's not completely out of the question now that we kind of sort of have a YouTube channel. So stay tuned. And if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, whatever, feel free to tag us on social media and, give us a like and a review. Hopefully it's positive, but say what you want to say. And until then, enjoy the show.
Bye.